Start recording. I want to kill these. Kill these overhead lights.
Alors, en quoi consiste Sébastien, en quoi consiste le show que vous allez faire?
Le show Travis, dans un show, il parle un peu de tous ces produits. Et il fait beaucoup d'éducation aussi sur le CBD. Et il a une chaîne de produits CBD avec des vape pens et des crèmes.
You ready?
Ready?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
And we are live on the Mighty Veedverks Airship with Sebastien Cotte, my friend.
Right.
Welcome.
Thanks, man. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Let's see. Let's get this transitioned over there. There, right. Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Welcome. You live in Georgia. You're here for the American Medical Refugees picnic primarily, or
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've always been a part of this group ever since I moved here in 2014 and lived here for a year. That's kind of how we met.
Yeah.
And once you're a refugee, you're always a refugee. So once a year we do this big picnic down up in South Park, and I figured it was a good time to come and kind of see everybody, all my friends. And plus, I love coming to Colorado. I still wish we live in Colorado, but obviously with Jagger and with some of his issues, we couldn't. But I always love to come to Colorado and see everybody, see you, and see all the people that kind of always try to help the refugee community. So we appreciate all that.
Good. The American Medical Refugees is an organization founded by Amy Dawn Berlin Hilterbrand, who moved here from Oklahoma with her husband and 3 kids, all of whom now have epilepsy, the oldest of which unfortunately is Dravet syndrome, which is an intractable form of epilepsy. It's a really bad deal, and cannabis is the only thing that gives him any relief. And so that's how we met through that. You're one of my heroes.
Well, thank you.
You're, among other things, so maybe I would be remiss if I didn't ask about, number one, Georgia, and number two, the current status of the lawsuit against Jeff Sessions, because like you see on the news about like Alexis Bortel, a young girl, brave young girl, and others are fighting to get cannabis descheduled. They have a number of really good arguments for it that I've talked about a lot on this show, but you're one of these plaintiffs in this lawsuit.
Absolutely. So Georgia, very quick. We still don't have access, so it's still a big problem. We have legal possession, but possession without access doesn't do much.
Right.
We do have 5% THC, up to 5% THC, but without access, it's difficult. But this year we were able to add just 2 things to the bill, but it was pretty big. We added PTSD, and that's always big, and then we added intractable pain. So we have pain and PTSD to the list of conditions. So we have 17 conditions plus hospice, regardless of why you're on a hospice. Right. But again, no access, so that makes it really, really tough. But so people have to break law to just bring product back to Georgia, and we have 4,500 people in the registry in Georgia. We got 4,500 criminals.
That ain't right.
No, it's
Change
not,
it, Georgia.
Yeah, it's not right. And 4,500 people that have, like I always say, you got 4 options. There's a underground program from State Rep Alan Peake, but it's very limited because obviously you can't get that much product. You can come to Colorado, California, any legal state and try to bring it back, but you're breaking laws.
Right.
You can try to get somebody to ship it to you, but they're breaking the law when they do that, and then you breaking the law.
Right.
Or, which is very worrisome to me, what's happening a lot is moms going to college campuses, buying a bag of weed, and then watching a YouTube video to learn how to extract it and doing it in their kitchen. Right. And to this day, we're very lucky that nobody blew up their house in Georgia. But it's a question of time. Those are just regular mom taking care of kids that know nothing about chemistry or anything like this, and they just watch a 5-minute YouTube video. So that's a bad situation in Georgia because we have no access. So that, to say bluntly, it really sucks.
And they're done with this legislative session.
We are done,
year, right? So
we are part-time legislation from 40 days starting in the beginning of January. So usually the last week of March, first week of April, we're done. So we have to wait till next January. The one thing we have going this year is in November we have elections for new governor. So the Democrat candidate already said she was in favor, but Georgia is a red state, so the odds of her winning are probably pretty low. And the Republican candidate, with these 2 of them, we have a runoff going on in a couple of weeks. One, he's never been in favor. He was a lieutenant governor, and he's always blocked a lot of our bills.
Yeah.
It's starting to come around a little bit. We've been pushing him a lot with the parents. And last session, he agreed to do a study committee or commission to study how could we do cultivation in Georgia. Now, so that's a first step for him. It's still far away from saying, yeah, let's do cultivation. Yeah. He's also a very good friend with the sheriff and the law enforcement, which are very much against cultivation in Georgia. Yeah. So at one point, he's either going to have to piss off the sheriff and the law enforcement or piss off the parents. I don't know what he's going to do. So I'm not totally sure it's going to help. The other Republican candidate, his name is Brian Kemp, and he actually just came out yesterday. We've been trying to get him on record to say if he was in favor. And yesterday he came out saying he's not in favor of cultivation. So if he were to win, we would not have cultivation. So Georgia is still a long way to go. But even if we were to pass anything, it would be in 2019. By the time we get licensing, everything ready, and then we finally pick the people, we get the grow started. Obviously, it takes time.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, the best case scenario to have product you can buy in Georgia would be end of 2020.
Yeah.
And kids like Jagger, they don't have that much time. So I mean, he's on hospice and he's very sick. So. Yeah. So that's for Georgia. So the situation is not good. We're adding condition all the time, and some of the condition, we were some of the first in the country to do it. We were the first state to add sickle cell anemia.
Really?
And we were the first state to add mitochondrial disease. They did that for Jagger mostly, but we were the first state to do it. We still don't have another state that done mito. I'm pushing in New York State to try to do it. Sickle cell since then has been added in a lot of states.
Really?
But again, it doesn't matter if you're pioneer in adding condition if you don't have access. It's kind of useless. So we do good on the condition, we do horrible on the access, and at the end of the day, we have really nothing. So that's Georgia. The lawsuit. So the lawsuit is a lawsuit with 5 plaintiffs. It was Alexis Bortel, that everybody here in Colorado knows. Great little girl, I love her. Came from Texas, having seizures, live in Colorado. She's now, I don't even know, 2-3 years seizure free, something like it's crazy.
Yeah,
it's
amazing.
It's amazing. Not a single seizure in like 2 years, over 2 years now. It's crazy. So she does great. Jagger is another one of the plaintiffs. So those are the 2 kids, Alexis and Jagger. And I represent Jagger because he's a minor, obviously. Right. We have Jose Belen. He's a veteran from Florida, a combat vet. I think he was in Afghanistan. And he does a lot of things for the veterans around the country. He has an organization called Mission 22. Because I'm sure you're talking in your show about the 22 a day before. Which, by the way, I just talked to Sue Sisley last week in Washington, D.C., and she was just like, that number is wrong. It's much, much higher.
Yeah.
She said New York and Texas don't have to report it. So the 2 largest states outside of California, so 2 of the 3 largest states in the country don't even report the number of veteran suicide. So that 22 could be 40 very easily. We always
There's a lot of military bases in Texas, too.
Yeah, and we're only saying 22, but it could be up to 40 or no more. Yeah. So Jose kind of representing the vets on the lawsuit. Then we have Marvin Washington, Super Bowl champion Marvin Washington from the Jets and the Broncos. And Marvin is representing a lot of the NFL player and athlete with CTE. Now we're finding about all of those athletes that play the sports and give everything to the sports, and now are like blowing themselves with a gun because they can't take it.
Yeah.
A lot of suicide also in professional athlete, or they just become they get Alzheimer or really a horrible disease from all the concussion and everything. So Marvin is representing that part, and then the Cannabis Culture Club. It's a club out of New York City that is trying to push for a minority in cannabis. So they're representing kind of the minority, the lack of the racism of the whole entire cannabis, prohibition. So they're representing that to try to give more access and more opportunities to minorities in the cannabis world. And the cannabis industry is doing actually fairly well if you compare it to other industries as far involving minorities and women. Yeah. But it still has a long way to go. But I mean, it's better than some of the other industries, but it still has a long, long way to go. And because we
do better with women than with minorities.
That is very true. That is very true. Yeah. And it's still a young industry, so I think this is the time to do it. This is the time to do it right. Involve women, involve minority now, not when the industry will be 10 years old and everybody will be already have their licenses and everything. Yeah. So that's the premise. So there's 5 plaintiffs. The premises of the lawsuit is very simple. It's just to take cannabis out of scheduling. He has no business being that. Not put in 2, 3, 4, 5. Just totally
deschedule.
Deschedule. Now reschedule.
Regulate it like tea.
Voilà, exactly.
Regulate it
like anything. I mean, like anything.
Like apples.
Well, yep. Just take it off the schedule altogether. And then that will obviously open opportunities to a lot of people, and that will help so many kids, like Jagger and so many others, because we won't have to worry about crazy laws and say you can't have it. And obviously, I'm sure you talked in your show before, but Schedule 1 is a joke. Schedule 1 is, we mean, highly addictive and no medical properties,
no
benefits.
medical value.
No medical value.
It has
and,
to be highly addictive, have no accepted medical value, and it has to be essentially so dangerous that you can't test it for future medical use. And that's
so we know that's not right.
Because the U.S. government has a patent on cannabis. It's patent number 6630507.
And that's Talk to the Hand.
Talk to the Hand on Facebook.
6630507.
Find us on Facebook. Talk to the 6630507 hand.
Yep. Another thing started by Amy, Hildebrand.
Another one by Amy.
Yeah, she does a lot of good things for this cause. And so the patent, if you guys don't know, the patent just say that cannabinoids are antioxidant and neuroprotectant. So the government is telling us that if you take cannabinoid, you can help your brain and protect your brain. But at the same time, it's telling us that it has no medical benefits and it's highly addictive. So you can't have it both ways. You got to decide something. So the government has to decide how you want to do this. You either just give up your patent and don't say it has any medical properties, or you should say, you know what, it does. It shouldn't be in Schedule 1. Yeah. So the lawsuit is trying to do that. In February 14, I believe, Valentine's Day. Unfortunately, it was the same day as the shooting in Florida, so it didn't get a lot of news and everything, because obviously something much more important happened to those kids in Parkland, in Florida. But we had a hearing in Southern New York District Court in Manhattan. And it went really well, or at least we thought it went well. We explained to the judge what was going on. I was there. Every plaintiff were there. Well, I should say.
Except for Alexis.
Alexis and Jagger, obviously.
They couldn't come because they couldn't bring their medicine with them.
So
which is part of this, which is one of the parts of the suit.
Exactly.
It's unfairly restricts your constitutionally guaranteed right to travel. Yeah,
because Alexis and Jagger cannot go anywhere because they don't have the cannabis. So Dean and his wife were there to represent Alexis. I was there to represent Jagger. Marvin was there, Jose was there, and the Cannabis Culture Club was there. Michael Hiller and Lauren Rudick are lawyers. They're amazing, out of Manhattan. They explained the case. They explained what happened. And the judge was very, I think, understanding. But at the end of the day, what happened is the government did a motion to dismiss. That's very common. Every time you sue the government, they are going to do a motion to dismiss. You'll be like, hey, you know what? We don't think this is a valid lawsuit. We need you to forget about it. So I went to court, and the government actually won the motion to dismiss. And the reason they won it was on process. So not actually on value, or not on the cause, but on the process. So the judge came out, and he did say, it's impossible to tell you right now, it's impossible that anybody can say that cannabis doesn't have medical property when you look at Alexis and when you look at Jagger. Yeah. Impossible. So that's a huge step, because a federal judge just say cannabis has medical properties. Yeah. However, the judge say there is a process, and the process is to petition the FDA and the DEA to reschedule. And there's a reason why the process is there, and I cannot accept your lawsuit because you did not go to the process. So unfortunately, I have to deny your lawsuit. But I don't think he had a choice to do that, to be honest. But the fact that he came out first saying he has medical benefits, medical property, I think that was huge. But you see on the process. So what we're doing now, just talked to Lauren, our lawyer in New York, a couple of days ago, is before June 1st we have to file. So before today, they filed the appeal to the appeal court, Second Circuit Court of Appeal, also in New York. And the reason and how we filed the appeal is saying that we do understand there's a process. However, the process is flawed. The process is broken. The process is always the same. It takes 7 to 9 years for the DEA to tell you when it's not going to reschedule or deschedule cannabis. And he never look at the information he has to look at. He always uses only the information that is beneficial to them. So we are appealing on the ground that the process is, if we follow the process, it's never going to work. The process is broken, and we should have the right to explain why we think the process is broken and why we think cannabis should be descheduled. And also the fact that Alexis and Jagger don't have 7 to 9 years. I mean, Jagger's on hospice, so I don't know how long he's going to live. I mean, he's very, very sick. Cannabis is not a cure for him. We give him better quality of life. We stopped worrying about quantity of life with Jagger years ago. Jagger wasn't supposed to be past his 4th birthday. They told us 95% sure he would not see his 4th birthday. Jagger is 7 and he will be 8 in September. But right before his 4th birthday, that's when we moved to Colorado and put him on cannabis. So Jagger is in big part alive today because of cannabis. And give him a much better quality of life. Now he's still very sick. He still has crisis. He still has problems, but he's much better than without cannabis. He's much better than the oxy and the morphine. We were able to get him off of that than he was taking all the time. So he's off many of the opiates. He's still on very strong medication like methadone and Valium and baclofen and gabapentin. He's still on that, but he's off morphine and off OxyContin just by using cannabis. So Jagger, Alexis don't have that much time. Jose, we don't know how much time he has. I mean, he has very bad PTSD as a vet. That's why we're appealing and saying we understand the process, but please listen to us. The process is broken. So you, Mr. Judge, Second Circuit Court of Appeal, you can actually help us and help make the process better. And so that's what we're appealing. So now we have to wait to see what they're going to say. We don't know what they're going to say at all. But we'll see. So
that it was so disappointing when they shot it down on procedural grounds, and then that happened again with the court case in the Ninth Circuit.
Yes.
With Hemp Industry Association and our law firm suing the DEA to get it descheduled, and it was the same thing. They're like, well, they repeated one of the things that was such a remarkable aspect of your court case is that in federal court they said, look, this is medicinal, everybody just get with it, and that judge said it too. However, you didn't appeal it to the DEA, whose job is to
exactly
it's
frustrating.
But people like you, people like Amy, people who are fighting for their kids, you just have my utmost respect, and
thank you.
And just what you go through as a father is just it's really remarkable, and and you really are doing just heroic things. Like I think I said this in a speech one time, but like I tell my kids stories about you guys. I tell my kids stories about Jagger. I tell it's just a remarkable thing, and I have just the utmost respect for you for that.
Thank you very much. We're just fighting, and hopefully we are. We're not going to give up, so we're going to keep going. And I just talked to Lauren, like I say, and she say if we get denied the Second Circuit, we're going to the Supreme Court. It might not work, but we're not going to stop until we try everything. And the Supreme Court obviously will be the last option. And it might not work, it might work, I don't know. It's hard to tell, but we're not going to stop fighting. And if it's not this lawsuit, it will be somebody else's lawsuit. What I always say is the lawsuit has never been about Alexis, it's never been about Marvin, it's never been about Jagger, it's never been about Jose. It's been about everybody that wants the freedom to use a plant. And we just put our name on it. But that's not about us. It never was about us, and it's about everybody. And if our lawsuit doesn't work, hopefully there'll be a few more people that try another lawsuit in a year, or and eventually we'll crack that door. Right now, we're trying really hard to crack the door, but eventually we're going to crack it. And once the door is cracked, it's just going to flow. And so I'm confident it's going to happen. I don't know when. But I always say it's not a question of if cannabis is going to be legal one day. Now it's a question of when. I don't have the answer to that, but I know it's not if anymore, it's when. And when, one day it will be legal, and a lot of people will be able to use product like yours and like many others, and without worry about anything, and we'll be able to have access all over the country in all 50 states. And that day will come. You just have to, wait for it, I guess, and keep pushing and keep trying. Keep pushing. We just can't stop pushing. So hopefully soon.
We'd like to try. This lotion that we make has 500 milligrams of CBD in it, and it's THC free, and it has terpenes that are reverse engineered from the terpene profiles of cannabis strains, of indica strains and sativa strains.
Okay.
And with the indica in particular, with the soothing lotion, we've gotten some remarkable feedback. I keep saying remarkable today. But, it's helping with stuff that you just wouldn't have thought. And so I'd be very interested to see if this offers Jagger any sort of
great.
relief.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Excited. I'll try that and I'll come back and report to you guys. We'll do another live one of those days. So
Won the Connoisseur Cup for it.
So, all right.
Best topical
Best
2018.
topical.
Connoisseur
Okay.
Cup. Yeah.
So I'm excited. It's called Amelia, guys, just in case.
Amelia.
Amelia. And you can, where do you find this? Can you find this anywhere in Colorado, or like how you get
We
that?
we have retail distribution in I think 18 states now.
Oh wow. Okay.
Um,
So never mind.
but-
Not just Colorado.
Yeah, but or you can just get it online. And
Even better. Even easier.
um,
And so you ship it all over the
Yes.
place. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It is
you got. I
THC
get a
free.
lot of people always asking me about lotion and stuff. So here, it's called Amelia,
yeah,
and excited to try this with Jagger.
yeah. This has really been
Thank you.
a very it's been a very good product. I use this our soothing lotion, and I use our vape, our sativa vape cartridge every day. Like I use our own products.
Very cool.
And this, I put it on my legs every night before I go to sleep. It's, I don't know if it's not restless leg syndrome or something, but
Yeah.
first, I don't know. We work on concrete all day long.
So,
We're on
yeah.
our feet all day long, and it just kind of makes that go away. And it,
No, I'm excited
It's,
to try it for Jagger because he has, as you know, he has a lot of muscle pain, muscle issues and
Yeah.
stuff with his Mito. So I'm excited to try that.
will you say live from the Mighty Veedverks Airship en français?
En direct du dirigeable Mighty Veedverks, you don't translate the end, so en direct du dirigeable Mighty Veedverks.
Nice.
Voilà.
I was trying to remember how you say it's like como se dice or is it como dit-on?
Yeah, there
Como
we go.
dit-on Mighty Veedverks Airship en français.
You say the same way en fait. It's just airship, you say dirigeable, mais
Cool.
that's
Hey,
the only thing.
Thanks for joining everybody, by the way, who's tuned in.
Yeah, thank you,
this is a
guys.
special. This was a very last minute thing, and it's man, I'm so honored to have you here. I really
Thank you.
appreciate it. You're a true hero.
No,
And,
thank you very much,
respect.
and thanks for all you do, and thank you for the cream. I'm very excited to try that for
Yeah,
Jagger.
I'm
so.
interested to know how it
Yeah,
works.
yeah, absolutely. So,
That's cool.
thank you.
So we're going to sign off.
Thank you,
everybody.
guys.
Thanks for tuning in.